All right. Hey, everybody. Can you imagine it is June 23rd already, 2026. I'll take a motion, call the meeting to order. Second. Saracen, Senko, all in favor?
Aye.
The Citrus Select Board encourages an environment of respect during all of our meetings. They will encourage all of our members to interact in a polite manner, even when there's disagreement, and we value the participation of everybody in our community, including marginalized and minoritized communities, to feel welcome and respected. Please, we want everyone to commit to these standards to support and respect our community and participate in an orderly manner. With that, we're going to start with because we had an election a few weeks ago with a board reorganization. I'd like to go first to make a notion and a motion. I would like to nominate for our chair, our next chair, someone who I think is probably a lot more capable, but also someone, if you don't know, if you haven't met her, someone who's taught me a lot about art listening and also the ability to think through problems constructively. So I'd like to nominate our vice chair, Harrison, as our next chair.
Second.
Do we have a discussion? That's great. Seeing none, I will take a vote for our new chair. I need to do roll call, I forget.
I don't think so.
No? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Congratulations. We'll move chairs after we do all that.
Yeah.
Now while you're yes.
Yeah, okay,
She's gonna be very happy with her.
Yeah. So I would also like to nominate, for vice chair, I've had the pleasure of working with for the past 2 years, who has been an outstanding clerk and taught me, is an excellent listener as well, and also makes me laugh when I need to laugh as well. So I've appreciated sitting next to him, Jamie Gilmore.
Second.
So you've seconded. So I've nominated. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Anyone would like to? The next position we have would be clerk. Would somebody like to make a nomination?
I'll nominate, because I had as well the same, we started as colleagues, not knowing each other at all. But over this past year of time, as candid as she is, she knows the town like the back of her hand. I would nominate Freya Schlegel as the clerk.
Okay, we have a nomination, Mr. Gilmore, second. Seconded by, Mr. Goodrich, all in favor? Aye. Congratulations, it's official. And I will say, there's a lot of reading as clerk, and you did an excellent job.
Yeah.
The veterans, thing we had celebration. All right, so are we moving chairs or?
It is up to you.
I would prefer just to stay with
Can we just stay where we are and move next time?
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. All right, so the next thing on our agenda is walk-ins. So if you haven't been here, a walk-in is something that is not already on the agenda. So does anybody have anything they would like to bring up that isn't currently on our agenda for this evening? For Zoom as well as in the room. Is there someone trying to get in the meeting?
Mr. Harrison, you have no hands, virtual hands.
No hands, okay. Okay, with no walk-ins, then we will go to the report of the town administrator, Jim.
Good evening, thank you. Start with just reminding people, yesterday was the last day of school. That means that there's more children out and about walking, biking, etc. So when you're out and about driving, just please use some extra caution around town because there will be a lot of kids out and about. All beaches are now staffed for the town of Scituate. Lifeguard hours 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Remind now that all beaches require parking stickers for you to park at the beaches. Water updates, Tac Factory Pond -1, last week it was even, reservoirs -5.5, down from last week of -1.5. Rainfall, as of yesterday morning, was 0.42 inches. So just for reference, a year ago, Tac Factory Pond and the reservoir were both +1 and +0.5 respectively. Since January of this year, we've seen a deficit of rainfall of more than 9 inches, so we are still in a drought, despite the rain we got yesterday. Demand for the last week, 1.73 million gallons a day, up from the 1.51 million gallons per day last week. Tier 2 water restrictions are in place, no in-ground irrigation systems allowed. Handheld hose only before 9 and 5. The water department has been issuing warning for violations, and they're keeping track of who gets those. Those will be followed up by tickets at some point, probably after July 1st. We'll also start bringing in at least one of our water department employees to work starting around 3:30 in the morning. You can see that's when the draw comes on the water system with people running their streamers. So we'll start seeing that very shortly. We want to encourage residents to make sure you sign up for the Alert 911 system, Smart 911, so you get all the details of this particular water break, water restrictions and stuff like that. We also want to remind people that we're continuing to work on Route 3A and the new water treatment plant in Old Forge. We're installing a new water line that will take water from the well down to Teak Pond at the bottom of Teak Pond, bring it up to the top, pump that to the reservoir. This will take several weeks. Quick aside, we've got a bunch of questions, so I have them on why the town has the U.S., French, and Cape Verde flags flying on Front Street and not the Irish flag. The U.S., France, and Cape Verde are in the World Cup, so we put the flags up to celebrate them being in the World Cup. Unfortunately, Ireland is not. I'm not sure how Boston would have survived if both Scotland and Ireland were in the World Cup.
Next time if they get in, we'll put them on.
So next week, those flags will come down. The American flag will go up for July 4th. That will be immediately followed by the Cape Verde flags will go up for Cape Verde Independence Day, which is July 5th. And then the French flags go up for July 14th on Bastille Day. And then at the end of the month, at the end of the year in August, for Heritage Days, we fly all the flags from the U.S., Cape Verde, France, and Ireland. Scituate Police want to remind people that under Mass law, residents that have vehicles that qualify as low-speed vehicles, aka golf carts, must meet state and federal safety requirements to travel on public ways. They must be registered, titled, and insured, and inspected for registered motor vehicles. They may only operate on roads with posted speed limits of 30 miles per hour or less, and you must have a valid license or learner's permit when required. You can visit the Scituate Facebook page if you have any questions. Finally, for today, dog licenses expire on June 30th. You must renew your dog licenses every year by July 1st. Male, female dogs, $15 each. Neuter to spayed dogs, $10 each. Dog owners over 70 and certified service dogs, there is no fee. Licensing is available at the town clerk's office during regular business hours. Dog license forms are available on the town clerk's page of the town website. Licensing by mail, please allow for mailing time, especially if you intend to board your dog in a kennel. Please notify the town clerk's office if you no longer own a dog. That's really all I have for tonight. Happy to answer any questions the board might have.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions?
I do. Do we know how many warnings have been sent out for the water?
No, I can find out. I'll ask her.
Thank you.
I know all the vehicles have warnings.
I
So
didn't
when
know
they're
that.
driving around,
I
they're supposed to
haven't.
stop. Yep.
There.
Yep, I'll ask her.
Okay, with no other questions? Last call, okay, no questions. We are going to, so the first agenda item is actually a public hearing and it's marked at 6:45, so we cannot start till after 6:45. So we are gonna skip down to the approval of the collective bargaining memorandum of understanding for FY 27 and 29 for laborers union local 1162. Bob Clark, our HR director, who requested to go early, and we like to make our HR director happy. So it is on page 40 of your packets. If you've all paid for that. So Bob, why don't you give us a little overview?
Okay, thank you. We have been negotiating for a successor collective bargaining agreement with our laborers union. That's the union that for the most part represents the DPW division. So we have entered into a memorandum of agreement for FY 27 through 29, a 3-year contract. The MOA includes 3% wage increases for the next 3 years. The 3% wage increase is pretty consistent with the increases we've negotiated with other bargaining units. For FY '27, it is budgeted, so we're set in that regard. We made a few other sort of economic changes as well to the contract. In the third year of the contract, we actually added, we addressed some issues with the steps. We actually added an additional step and lowered, this was after 6 years of employment, and lowered the years of service requirements for some of the top steps. And our goal in doing this was really to kind of address, we have a number of employees in the bargaining unit who are at that 6, 7, 8 years, and they kind of sort of stagnate because they reach the top steps. So this kind of provides some benefits to those employees. One other thing that we had done is a lot of the compensation for members of this collective bargaining agreement are compensated through stipends. So there was basically a uniform, consistent approach to this issue from both the union and the town's perspective, that there was a benefit to actually rolling those stipends into the base wages. So what we did is we took longevity stipend, cell phone stipend, meal allowance, and a clothing stipend, and we calculated the expense of those and rolled them into the base wage. There's a couple benefits to that. One is maintaining, just taking care of those stipends from accounting perspective and payroll and administrative assistance is cumbersome. But also what it does is it raises the base wage for the step one in the salary schedule, and that helps us when it comes to recruitment. So we're competing with other towns. If we can have a little bit of a higher base wage for people coming in, it helps us with recruitment. On the flip side, the employee benefit, because the stipends going into that base wage becomes pensionable. They're eligible for that much a better pension at the time that they leave. It also impacts that overtime to a small extent. So it was mutually beneficial for everyone. So we ultimately had an agreement to do that. There's a lot of language changes we made in here that was really more about sort of clarifying language, housekeeping language. We tried to take some of the language and make it consistent across the different bargaining units regarding bereavement leave, sick leave, vacation leave, vacation carryover rather. So we cleaned up some of that language to just make it look more consistent. And then the last thing I'll add is the only other real change that we made is there were 2 positions within this, the labor's bargaining unit, which were clerical in nature. So with both the DPW office manager and the harbor master administrative assistant were in the labor's bargaining unit, which never really made a lot of sense. So there was an agreement with the union that when those positions became vacant through attrition, we would move them over to clerical, which is Tosca. So that was really sort of the essence of the agreement that we reached. It was a really positive process. We've always had a great relationship with the labor's bargaining unit. And I had heard that this MOA was ratified by 100% of the membership. So there was no one voting against it, which I always saw as a really positive sign. So.
Thank you. Appreciate the update. Any questions?
The only question I would have is with regards to the stipends being put into the base salary.
Right.
Did that change number of employees that are actually eligible for that? It's really a wash in terms of the number of people that are getting.
Right.
So,
Yeah, wash.
just
Right.
Yeah, comment?
Yes, please.
I think the intelligence in cleaning up some of these antiquated union terminologies is excellent. So I commend that. It's comprehensive, it's efficient, it's going to be easier to interpret on both sides of the table. So I am in great approval of it. Very good. Well done.
Thank you.
Thought it was great.
Thank you.
Tightened up a lot of things. Another question? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the collective bargaining memorandum of agreement for the laborers union local 1162 bargaining unit for the period of July 1, 2026 through to June 30, 2029.
Moved by Mr. Gilmore, second by Mr. Goodrich, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous, so thank you.
Thank you.
That's been approved.
We have to start reading faster.
I know. You like that, you stole my job.
Well, we still have a minute.
I just can't get out of these habits. I'm
You can
sorry.
go, you're fine.
We can.
You get the next one.
Oh, we do have 6:45.
Yeah, you go.
That clock's wrong.
You
What
get
is
the
that,
next
like,
one.
it's not ours.
It's-
You know.
All right, so we are going back to the top of the agenda because we have hit the magic 6:45 public hearing. And we have an outdoor extension of premise, Casa Verde, 108 to 110 Front Street. Eric Murdoch, please come up.
Wow.
That's a good
Right on
Thanks
for that.
I've never seen that for anybody else.
Okay.
You know.
Magic, you got a walk-up song. Okay, tell us about what you're doing.
I mean, it's fairly straightforward, just looking to get 4 tables outside. I sent the renderings over, all ADA compliant, and just looking to take advantage of the summer in Scituate.
People do like outdoor seating, especially in Front Street. And this is, so all the paperwork is in order. We have all the backup. It conforms with the policy that we have, where there is enough, it's in ADA compliance, so that there's enough room for sidewalk per the state regulations. And it looks like you've also done public notice.
Yep, I have these. I don't know if I give them to Michelle or.
Yeah, you can give them.
You can give them
Awesome.
to Shari.
Thank you.
Are there any questions on the board regarding the applications?
The only question I had actually wasn't for Kara. I think this is great and I support more outdoor seating. We're a seaside resort town in the summertime. We're attracting visitors. It helps everybody. The more people are sitting outside, the more people are walking down Front Street, the more people are shopping at all our stores. So I'm very much in favor of it. I don't see any problem with the logistics or the ADA compliance. The only question I had, I guess, was really for Shari. I know that with the parking at Galley, that's a separate situation, but with Chopsticks and with all the other, the businesses that have outdoor seating in the harbor, none of the others are seasonal except for the parking situation at Galley, right? So this is not a date mandated. It's only time, but it's not date mandated, right? The way we're writing this. In other words, there's no limit on spring, fall, winter, as long as people want to wear their winter coats.
We have, our outdoor seating policy has limits on when the outdoor seating can be.
So the policy doesn't need to conform to the motion you made, because it's already standardized.
Should be,
That's what, I just wanted to check that. So-
Yeah, it's like a uniform policy, like, is it April to November or is
I
that?
don't know, it wouldn't have to be any of that form, the dates once you get out of the form.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure we didn't need it separately. Listen. Otherwise, that's.
I have a question about safety. It says planters here on the plan. Is there no barricades because that's just the street, right? There's no parking.
No, that is street right there.
It's street.
You're on the sidewalk.
These planters are guarding the parking from the street. They're just planters, correct?
Yeah, they're gonna be weighted down.
Similar to what they have at the galley.
Yeah. Well, the galley has like the.
But they're not gonna be planters, they're going to be barricades?
No.
No,
Not the galley, sorry, I consulted, sorry. I heard it happened, sorry.
yeah,
So they'll be big enough to stop a car careening at your guests?
they'll be weighted. I mean, it's similar to what like Hibernian has, because they're right up the street as well.
Yeah.
So, like, are they ballards? No, but that's not, nobody in Scituate has those, so.
Granite curtains there.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
interpretation is that the sidewalk itself is deemed as safe. There's no need
Right.
for a barricade there.
That's not like a town bylaw.
Any additional questions or comments from the
So-
board?
So just for clarification, there's no, the entertainment license and the times are all the same, so 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, just for clarification, right, so it's.
This has nothing to
Some
do with
inter-
entertainment.
Right, nothing to
Absolutely
do.
nothing to do with
This
entertainment.
is just,
This is solely, that is a good point, and that is.
Yes.
Got it.
It's solely outdoor seating and conforming to our outdoor seating policy, nothing to do with entertainment.
okay,
Any other questions?
The trees are already there. right?
Yes.
There are 2 trees. They're nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Lovely trees, they're
Love
already there.
trees.
Okay, no other questions from the board. This is a public hearing, so are there any questions from either Zoom or in the room?
Ann Provine, 10 Pencrest Road, representing the planning board. When Cassie Garrett came before the planning board for administrative site plan review, one of the conditions was no outside seating. And then last fall, again, Cassie Birdie came in looking for outdoor seating. And we looked at everything, we measured things, and we decided, the board decided that there was inadequate space for 4 tables with 4 seats each between the trees, with the sidewalk, in terms of public safety. And when the windows of Casa Verde are open, they open onto the sidewalk. So the planning board has said no to outdoor seating as a condition twice. So am I to understand then, I mean, please inform me, am I to understand that the board of selectmen can circumvent the planning board?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think, I'm not saying it's circumventing, we got, our legal counsel, our counsel told us that, it was, you know, that prior denials of the planning board would not preclude the select board from, authorizing the use. And they advised that we would do a policy, we have created a policy in order to stay consistent, so that every business in town gets the same opportunity, follows the same process, and the people qualified to make the determination, which would be our building inspector, has that opportunity to do that. So as a board, that is what our policy states.
Well, it's somewhat difficult to work as hard as we do. If we have a discussion between the board of selectmen and the planning board vis-a-vis this policy, because really, it's all about communication. Now, I drove down Front Street yesterday, and Hibernia initially had no outside. There could not be more than 2 feet between their tables and the flowers and the building. 2 feet. So I would suggest, if this is what you all are gonna do, then we better have some enforcement about all of this.
We completely agree with you. First of all, I would never take away all of the hard work that you do to the planning board, and I appreciate you and the planning board for all of the hard work that you put in. They're very long meetings, and you have a difficult job.
And
I completely appreciate that. We also think there needs to be enforcement too, because some of us walked around and there's tables, even like coffee corner has tables such that it's not passable for ADA compliant. The guitar store does too. So we have a new building inspector. We are very excited. He is working on compliance as well. So partly this is an education that all the businesses have to know that the outdoor seating needs to have a certain amount of passable sidewalk. And if you feel that it does not, you would call the building department and they would go out and educate the business owner about that. And we appreciate all of our businesses in town, and we want to be fair and equitable to all of them, but we also want to enforce things. So if the tables are as they are in the plan, which this is a lovely plan if they turn out to be more tables or closer such that they're not the amount of feet, our building inspector will go out. So
It's just disconcerting. It really truly is, that we said no, it was a condition, and now we have been told that we can no longer have that condition.
we wanna be fair to our businesses and not condition one business, but the next door.
I understand,
Not a
and
condition,
I
so
have this
I
in
appreciate-
town as well. I've been here for 36 years in the business. I understand, we want to keep things fair and we want to keep everybody on the same playing field. But it would behoove the Board of Selectmen, if you would come up with a new policy,
We did.
that you would have notified or sent it along to the planning board.
Well, we can
And it
surely
would be
send that
very
into
nice.
planning and zoning and all around. And we would also, policies are not written in stone, right? If there's we are trying this out, if we need to add to the policy, we can add to the policy. So we would appreciate any feedback as far as, 6 months from now, is the policy working? So thank you, I appreciate your comment.
If I
Did you
can,
have
I
something,
think also to that point, we have been working for majority of the year that I've been here, but also certainly since this May, try and create a new, more standardized policy on this, which is why we've been going out. I know everybody on this board has gone out with a tape measure as well as to try and talk to different departments. So this is something that is recently in flux because we are trying to standardize it. But I think that we are being consistent here to the businesses and to the opportunities that businesses have. And so I think that is us being fair to those people, and if more communication is required going forward to make sure the planning board is aware of changes to the policies that we're making, that's fair. But this isn't being consistent with what we've been trying to do this summer.
Did you have something?
I did, yeah, so I guess really what I learned from council, and this will be a longer discussion, was that the planning board's role is about parking. The parking restrictions are there. And the select board has oversight of sidewalks.
I agree, it's about public safety, sir.
Let him.
Yeah. And so, again, the fact that Casa Verde has the largest portion on that street. And I went out and measured it at other places, and I talked to ADA compliance in other areas. Again, the role of public safety is on the select board side, and public safety understand what's safe or what's not safe. And we're gonna have to talk about what those roles are gonna be. And in the same way that we wanna make sure that our businesses are able to grow, we would love to work with the planning board to make sure that those businesses have the opportunity. So again, it's gonna be that two-sided street communication.
Communication. It's all about
ADA compliance in Massachusetts is 48 inches on sidewalks, and I don't believe when you went out a couple weeks ago, Andrew, and measured that any place was 48 inches.
According to council, it's 36.
36.
Lot, 36.
Yeah.
36?
Yeah.
36.
Why does Google say 48?
Because Google's Google.
I don't know, but we are following a consistent policy with our building. Are there any other public comments? I see no hands. I'm gonna ask again, no public comments. Okay, do I have a motion?
Where'd it go?
Page
Nobody-
3. Page 3.
Move to approve the outdoor extension of premises to Cafe Verde to include sidewalk seating for 14 patrons in front of 108 to 110 Front Street. Proposed hours of Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Friday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and further execute a sidewalk agreement for 3 weeks.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Schlegel, seconded by Mr. Gilmore, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, all, so is unanimous.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you for
And,
doing business.
And I appreciate you taking the time to put together the uniform policy, because I think that is just helpful. It makes you not feel targeted or whatever it may be. And having had businesses in Scituate for 14 years, this is a privilege, and I do realize that. So you don't have to worry about me taking advantage of that. And I own a lot of tape measures, so. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, next on our agenda, we have, annual outdoor entertainment license, Scituate Coast, 3169 VFW, 736 Chief Justice Jane Highway. Michael Flaherty, manager, and
Patrick Murphy. I guess I'm
welcome.
on the
All
board.
against, that's popular.
Yeah, boy.
So this is on page 16, if you all are following. So tell us a little bit about what you are planning to do.
So we built a deck and now we would like to get live entertainment outside. Now we built a deck in front of the building because there's 5 neighbors behind it. Instead of building it behind where you'd have people complaining about the loud noise. We figured that if we build it in the front, the building would deflect a lot of the noise forward towards 3A.
Okay.
And we own the property across the way up to the gas station. So we put a little bit of thought into avoiding any problems with the neighbors when we designed the deck.
Okay. It is a very nice deck. And you're looking to do outdoor entertainment similar to other places that we have in town that does outdoor entertainment. It is, you have all the paperwork in, and it's also like all of our other restaurants that do that. So are there any other questions from the board on the application?
I don't have any questions. My only comment would be that I think the only significant difference with the VFW is simply that they're not downtown in the harbor, they're on Route 3A, it's sort of obvious. I think that could be a potential difference, but in their cases, they've just pointed out, they've taken things to make sure that they're using the best possible location to try and minimize impact to the butters, and I think that's excellent. There's probably more noise coming off of 3A from trucks going by than there is from the deck. So I'm in favor of this. I think it'll allow for a nicer experience and more for that.
Any other comments or questions?
No, I think it's a good idea.
Any other, no? Anything from the audience? Any comments or questions? Looks like ask just in case. No? Do we have a motion?
Move to the select board approve the adjustment of the annual entertainment license to include outdoor use on the front deck of the Scituate Coast 3169 VFW located on 736 Chief Justice Cushing Highway, Scituate, MA. Hours of operation will follow the standardized town regulations. Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday to Sunday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Moved by Ms. Schlegel, seconded by Dr. Ivanesenko. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Right.
Stay back.
All right, next we have a discussion and update on public safety preparations for the July 4th Police Chief Thompson and Fire Chief Mark Donovan here. Give us an update on July, just around the corner. I can't even believe it.
Good evening, it's coming. Coming.
Okay.
Thanks for having us. I feel like this is, we're kind of doing our annual sit down in front of you to just kind of update, another July 3rd, 4th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this year. I think that the message remains pretty consistent with years past. We want this to be a fun family weekend for everybody. We want people to be able to enjoy, but we want to keep it safe. The focus being on family. I think from a public safety standpoint, we've taken a lot of efforts over the past decade or so to kind of change things from where they were in years past with huge bonfires and disorderly behavior and some of the other things that went along, unfortunately, with the holiday. So we want to make sure that we kind of continue the trend that we've been moving in, keeping things safe and keeping things fun. I think from the police side, and let Chief jump in on the fire side, There's obviously the normal concerns we have with alcohol consumption, disorderly behavior on the beach, traffic and parking concerns that we have to make sure that the roads remain open. We also have, as we have in years past, Operation Dry Water on the water. So we want to make sure that people are being safe and our boating community is safe. So we'll be doing that as well. So, if there are questions, if there are concerns, we'll look to address them. We'll have additional staffing out for the 3rd, 4th, 5th for the whole weekend to look to keep things safe and keep things orderly. We ask that parents keep an eye on their kids. There aren't any planned fireworks events in Scituate. So in years past would have families dropping off kids at the beaches and things to come and hang out. We want, parents to keep an eye on what their kids are up to, where they are, and just everyone to be responsible, look out for their friends and neighbors and be safe.
Okay.
Yeah, I just echo his statements, watch this transition from a mayhem to a family event. We just want to keep it that way, keep people safe. Don't become a statistic. Fireworks are illegal. There's only one professional show in Scituate, and that's later in July. Don't, just like I said, be smart, be safe.
All your fingers.
Yep.
I said two things real quick. One, we want to make sure people have a lot of house parties, they have guests. Please keep the roads clear for public safety vehicles. We can't get by, we will send a tow truck down, we need to be able to get vehicles in and out of these areas. That's number one. Two, I was talking to Chief Thompson today, probably about the worst tide situation we can have. The tide's dead low at night. Normally we like to come in and kind of usher people off the beach.
Yes, natural closing time.
I know.
So, we will be urging people, don't stay on the beach all night. People clean up and get them off the beach, so.
Good point.
The big one really is where you park your cars. We have a lot of instances where we kick big vehicles down the street. Just can't have it.
Is that particular neighborhoods?
Any place near the ocean?
Sand Hills. Sand Hills primarily.
Sand Hills is big there. Ocean Street, turn away, any of the side streets down there, really. Guess you can't get a cruiser down the street and mind the neighborhoods.
Yeah, which is public safety.
There's some common sense with that. We understand that a lot of those areas, they don't have sufficient parking sometimes to support guests that they have. But when you have parking on two sides of the street, you just have to look and say, can a vehicle get down this particularly? Can a ladder truck get down this? Can some of the other things get down this safely? And we don't want kids popping up from behind cars and things like that. So common sense needs to prevail.
We're out watching it, moving around, checking some of the usual spots. So usually, even before dark, we can see problems as they evolve. We'll call it in. We're communicating and watching things, and so we'll all be out there. So we'll have extra staff on as well.
Sounds like a really good plan. Any questions?
I just want to say thank you. Being visible is so important, and seeing all you guys and everyone else out there, and it really is helpful. That's good. So I just want to say thank you.
If I could just add to the safety factors, we've been having some recent discussions about e-bikes in town. I've noticed more e-bikes out later at night. I don't know if it's because teenagers are on them and it seems, more cool these days to have an e-bike, but I've seen a number of bikes out at night. They don't have headlights up most of the time. I just want to remind parents to be thoughtful about what their kids are doing. Remind cars and drivers to be aware that there might be pedestrians out late at night coming off the beaches. They might be on foot, they might be on bikes. And if you're on a bike and you're going more than walking speed, please be thoughtful of cars that are going home both directions. So just, as we have these more conversations about these vehicles, more types of vehicles, it's just another aspect of safety that I wanted to bring up. Otherwise, I appreciate both the chiefs for keeping our town safe and having good plans to do so. Thanks, Reuters.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
I think we're good, thank you.
Enjoy your holiday.
Yeah,
You
thank
too.
you for all
Good
the
luck.
planning. Okay, next up, We have, a discussion of the American Legion Post 144 Town Heroes Program. Peter Burrows and Bob Callahan of American Legion Post 144.
Everyone,
Hello.
I think probably by now you have all heard what the banner program is, but my name is Peter Burrows. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm a vice commander of Post 144, and Bob is adjutant. We also have Dennis Bedore, who's the commander. And
Kevin Walsh,
who's,
another vice commander.
So we've got the whole team here tonight. We've been working on this for a while. I did speak to the town administrator. I've spoken to the former chair. I spoke to Freya as part of the Veterans Advisory Council. We received their unanimous support. The goals of this program are to recognize and honor eligible veterans that have an affiliation with the town of Scituate. And the word affiliation, I'll explain on the next page, is kind of important. We want to create a program that's self-funding. So we built a financial model. We think we can make this self-funding through either donations or for veterans or sponsors who want to buy a banner. We want to help the American Legion and also the Scituate Veterans Advisory Committee increase its service to the town. And then also help increase civic pride and build an even stronger feeling of community. Affiliated, when we talked about this, we really said we want to be inclusive since it's self-funding, that it would be nice if there's some pictures up there of other towns that have done this. About 30 towns in Massachusetts are already doing this. It's been a very important and popular program since 9/11. It really makes a statement. It certainly, you can drive through towns like Braintree. They have 370 banners up now in that town alone. When we said affiliated, we said any verified U.S. military veteran living or deceased and honorably discharged that has resided in or is currently living in Scituate, either full-time or part-time. So that's the first way you qualify. The second way is any eligible veteran that is sponsored by a direct Scituate relative, either a father, mother, sibling, son, or daughter. Where the sponsor feels the eligible veteran has a strong affiliation with Scituate. Maybe they were here summertime visiting folks or whatever. And so we want to be as inclusive as possible. But also they have to be eligible from being an honorably discharged veteran in any one of the branches of the service. And that includes in the details, merchant marine and certain years that served in wartime. The banner details are 24 by 48 inches is probably the preferred size most towns have gone through. We're hoping to do a double-sided banner, but we have not selected the final company yet. We're talking to 4 different companies. These things are very durable. Braintree told me they've had them up for 40 years now and they've had no real issues, but other towns I've talked to, pretty much similar experience. Our hope is that we can put a different veteran on the back and front. However, not every banner company does that. So we may do a side by side. If somebody wanted to have a father, son, or a sibling or best friends, because they do make double-sided brackets that could go on either side of the pole. We also would like to add a symbol to indicate for those veterans who would like to show that they were a town employee or a elected official or some other notification that they also have served in the military. And we want the banner to design to incorporate the Scituate blue and white color standard. So it's consistent with signage in the town. The cost we're proposing is that the fee for a veteran or friend that wants to sponsor a veteran will be $175. That's one-time fee. We believe that the banners could last longer than 3 years, but we're going to basically build this program assuming a 3-year life, and we will warranty the banner for that 3 years. So if the banner's damaged or gets by a box truck, so it gets blown over by the wind, then the folks are going to have to replace that banner at our expense. That includes also the brackets needed and the installation. And we do want to use a professional installation. None of us want to be climbing poles anymore. So we have to get a licensed, insured bucket truck. We're also going to pay, the Post would like to pay for the cost for any Gold Star families and any approved veterans of limited financial means. So if a veteran says, I really want to be in a poll, I can't afford it, they just talk to us. We're going to find a way, hopefully through donations, to be able to cover that. And at the end of the 3-year life, the banners will be retired and presented to the family or the sponsor of the veteran. And we'll start the program over again. If somebody wants to go up another banner, they pay another $175 fee. The timing and location, we discussed this when I met with the town administrator and the board chair. We're going to put the banners up 15 feet so that they're not going to be a risk to any big trucks or something moving through town. Some towns take them down between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Other towns leave them up, and it really makes a beautiful statement. So we're going to start with the idea that we try and keep them up year round. And I think with a 3-year life, that should be doable. We want to run a pilot program in 2026. And so we'll place veterans banners around the town common, Federal Cemetery, and First Parish Road in time for Veterans Day this year. Limited number. We want to get our feet wet, see what we're doing, make sure we can get the vendor to cooperate and produce a good quality product. Anybody who submits a request that exceeds our initial, cap maybe of 40 or so banners, we'll put on a waiting list for 2027 for Memorial Day. And we'll run an enrollment program twice a year, putting up banners for Memorial Day or putting up banners for Veterans Day. Based on the demand, we'll expand to other parts of the town, but the Post would like to avoid high wind areas or areas of Scituate that already have town approved flags. For example, in the harbor, you've already got, sister city, town, banners and everything else. So we'll probably just stay on well-traveled roads. Probably would never want to go on Route 3A simply because of the danger of putting up the banners, but maybe Driftway would be a good street. The next, once approved by the Board of Selectmen, we're going to activate a steering committee to oversee the banner program. So it's not just one person making all these decisions. We've already invited the Veterans Advisory Committee to put a person on that committee. I think we asked Fred if she would do it, but we do want to make sure we get a cross-section of people who are looking at this program, getting feedback from citizens in the town, making any corrections that we have to. The final banner program will vet and pick as soon as you guys approve it. We're down to 4 companies we're talking to right now. The veteran or veteran sponsor applications will be printed. There'll probably be an online version. It might be something they can download. There are some of the banner companies offer a portal, but we'll figure that out once we select the company. And because the Post is a IRS approved 501c19, we will begin fundraising once the program is approved. So it's an opportunity for people over and above if they want to sponsor a banner or if they just want to help the Post. And the last page I included was nothing more than an advertisement of who is Post 144. We provide unwavering community support. We've been around for a number of years.
20.
See, that's why he has to be here. Thank you.
I just came up to say.
You did a great job. You did a great job.
The annual oratory contest for the Boys and State program. We do wreaths across America every winter. We participate in all the town parades and events. We just participated in the Memorial Day event. We did the rifle, and we actually got the rifles to work this time. We do the Veterans Lunch on Veterans Day. We maintain the American flags in town squares, and we also provide honor guard to Veterans Funeral. We do not have a open building like the VFW, but the VFW very graciously lets us have our meetings there, and we can drink there too. So. And is there any questions? Otherwise, we'd like to have your support.
You want to say something, Andrew?
Yeah.
Start off, or Jim, since you.
Sure, yeah, we had a great conversation, and a few things we talked about, which I think are important, especially walking before and having a limited number. 2 reasons: one, we want to spill the secret sauce, but people love scarcity. I think it's going to help, but also for to know the areas that are helpful, things that are wind. I think it's just a great way to go. So I'm thankful that we want to make sure that we start limited in the right area, but also kind of helps make sure we're there as I appreciate, the feedback because when we met, I mean, there were some concerns we have of going at the right height, making sure that we can have a professional do it. We're not going to have DPW. We have the MOU, the brand. Let me say that.
Memo of understanding.
Thank you. For how that's all going to work, so it's not not going to be in the town's kind of dying to there. So, I mean, talk more about it, but I just want to say I appreciate taking the feedback and making some of those changes.
Yeah, so I drafted an MOU, council's making some changes to it, it's a good suggestion. Once it's done, it'll come back to the board, we'll execute it, but if you do approve it, it should be approved pending the execution of an MOU. Just to state everything was talked about here, they're responsible, they'll put them up. We'll have to look at it before they go up, we'll have the final say in where they go up. But aside from that, it will be their program and we'll support it.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, and I will say one thing on the MOU. The one thing I've learned here is we do talk about communication and over communication is good, so it's great to have things in writing. But what I promise to not do for future boards is to not put, when they don't put stuff in writing and say, oh, go back to the meeting and try to figure out what you agreed to. So we always try to get that in writing, what the town's responsibility is, and then what the entity's responsibility is. And
Again,
we do love projects that are funded because we really, I will say that we do not have extra money. we're very.
We understood that.
The gas prices, the pavement prices, it's really hitting the towns hard. And we would love to fund everything, but we can't. And specifically similar to memorial benches or other sort of things. So, so that's what it's typical that we do MOUs and it's also advised by our council.
And if the DPW wants to install them, we'd be happy to pay them. I mean, so we would do it with private
I don't think
contract.
they want to.
So,
Too many things to sign.
yeah, partly we don't have the staff to do the extra work, so it would be, if we do we're so tight on staff even, we've made position cuts such that we haven't had to do overrides in the past couple of years, and it's just really becomes opportunity cost. So if we sent the DPW to do this, they're not picking up trash or cutting trees at properties. So, so we appreciate your coming with a funded solution. Speaking of trees, I did want to know. I was kind of curious how many poles you mentioned. 40. I was like driving around. There is a lot of trees, which could also impact your costs. And also they're in front of people's houses. So these are other kind of complications that could come in that the town would have to help manage. So
I think, what
noticed
other
that.
towns have done is, and what we plan to do is actually to have one of the groups is planning the next wave. I mean, right now around the common area, if we can get back-to-back banners, we can put 40 banners on 20 poles.
Yeah.
So and that would just about cover Cudworth around the center.
Common would need a lot of tree work. I just
We're just gonna have to look
around
into
it.
it.
But like versus like Cutworth, you've got poles with
Cudworth was wide open.
it's wide open. So I do think some places are gonna be trickier than others. If you're putting them up where there's a cemetery behind it versus somebody's residence with a mature tree that would need to be cut.
Right.
So I think we need to be sensitive to that as well.
Madam Chair.
Oh, yes, sorry. Taking too much time here.
The idea is great, and I know it's already tried and true in a lot of communities, not just in Massachusetts. I think some of the open-ended questions you're better off to get into the MOU or established so that you're not going uphill. For example, public input. What do you do if somebody doesn't want one of these banners on their pole near their house? What does the banner itself design final look like?
Yeah, that's what the steering committee would.
I see you've got some Scituate blue and white colors and all of that. I think that's going there. what's the makeup of the steering committee, so that you can have a fair and balanced committee? I think that's very important for the public to perceive. The idea of, really figuring out whether this should be year-round or whether it should be the seasonal at the heights of the ceremonies. If it's not year-round, your banners may even last longer. So,
Yep.
I'll be very interested to see the MOU and the composition, and have you put this out for public input? Is that something that should be done? Where the townspeople can say, yeah, this is a great idea, or maybe we need to just do it like you said, Front Street only, or First Parish Road only, or whatever. To be clear, so that there's nobody second guessing you, or that social, what do they call that, social?
Social media.
Social media isn't ruining your program based on lack of knowledge. That's all.
Yeah, I think that the other towns that I've talked to, the biggest advice people have given us is you do not want this to be political. This is honoring individual veterans.
Correct.
It should not be trying to portray a particular political party or anything else. It's simply honoring veterans who honorably served in the military. And if you stick to that, most people will not have an issue. There are, we have to deal with stolen valor. We have to validate somebody's actual legitimate service. You don't want somebody up on a banner that did not serve, and there they are, being honored in the town. So there has to be a screening process that we actually have to take on to be able to do this, to make sure that people who say they are a veteran are a veteran. But most towns have had nothing but positive response. Once they've looked at it, they said, like I said, Braintree said they started out the idea of put them up Memorial Day to Veterans Day. The town asked them to keep them up year round. And they put all of the Gold Star families right around the town hall. So it's but I think we under promise.
Public input, I would encourage you guys have a couple of meetings, if you have at the VFW, just advertise that, we're doing this program.
Yep.
Come and find out about it, give us your input, not your opinion, I agree with you, your input.
Yep.
And that way, there's a lot more buy-in, and I don't see why there wouldn't be buy-in, but
Right.
there's a lot more less second guessing happening after you're to get it rolling. That's my comment.
Right.
Yeah,
You have something?
I would say this is the public warning.
No, this is the first introduction. and
Okay.
There's no public here unless somebody.
Well, I
says
mean,
public
this-
or whatever. There's no public here aside from us. This little room.
But the public are always welcome at select board meetings.
True.
And we would welcome any of their comments. And we'll continue to welcome their comments. I did wanna say I had to go weird back roads to a wedding a couple weeks ago because of the FIFA World Cup and happened to drive past, I think it was at least 4 commons that were just like ours with the banners, and they looked absolutely great. And I did call Bob Chesia today and asked him about our commons specifically to make sure that it wasn't, a no-no to have live veterans or whatever, because it is a memorial common or whatever, and he did give his blessing for this project.
Good.
And I'm happy to work with you guys, obviously, on it. That's
Right. Thank you.
the board.
I think it's a great concept and project. My father, my grandfather, my uncle, 7 other members of my family are either active or veterans or deceased veterans, so I appreciate the idea very much. My questions are mostly along the same lines of Jamie's in the sense of logistics, and I think the MOU will outline a lot of that, so I'm not concerned about that as that comes out. I think the concepts of private property or abutters near these public areas are one question that I think we need to be sensitive to. People have different perspectives and opinions, and they should all be respected. And I think there are plenty of polls around town to look at. I do like the idea of a pilot program in this defined area so that we can get a feel, so that people get an idea of driving by and seeing a new topic, and that will probably prompt some public feedback, hopefully positive, but either way, I trust the veterans to take that input. The two things I guess I wonder about most specifically are, we currently have a sign bylaw. I think the current sign bylaw in town allows for 24 by 36, 6 square feet, which this would actually exceed. So I'm wondering if we need to think through that. So just double check, that would be all I'm suggesting. And if we need to change it, we address that as we need to. And then the other would just simply be a thought process of I never like precedent. I like to handle things on a one-by-one case basis, but where currently, if I'm not mistaken, the only times I can think of sort of public signage, it's in public areas, it's not on private property. It's typically our flags in the harbor, which obviously we understand, and probably I could extend that to the types of small temporary sports signs that we see on, telephone poles by our sports teams in high school and such, both of which are sort of established and very comfortable, and both are temporary in different ways. So if this was going to be a permanent 3-year fixed sign, which I'm in support of, I would just want to think through the unintended consequences of what happens if 17 other organizations want to start putting signs on telephone poles. So as the MOU comes out, I just want to have a good look at that. I'm in full support of this. I just want to think about unintended consequences as much as the intended.
So I drafted a policy on the flags previously, that the board put it off at the time to comply with the Boston case. I'm familiar with that, Boston flying flags on a flagpole at City Hall became speech, and you had to let anybody do it. So I've crafted a policy that deals with the flags in the harbor, what we fly on our town poles. I'm gonna add these banners to that policy, and then have the board adopt it so we can count that exemption.
That sounds wise and smart. I just wanted to ask that question. So thank you. Otherwise, I'm very full support of this, and I appreciate all your efforts.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the board?
Are we gonna move to adopt this?
So I was gonna actually ask for public comment next, since we said we would. So is there anyone in the public that would like to ask a question to the presenter, to us, or have a comment? Or public includes on Zoom and in the room? Dennis, I saw your hand first, so please.
All right,
Name and address for the record.
well, I lived in Scituate. I moved across the bridge, so they had to keep me as commander for somebody who wants a job. That's how that happened, and I lived in Scituate for over 20 years. But I live on 60, Maycomber Ridge, Marshfield. I didn't go far. But I would like to tell you, was a professional lineman. I am a pole lineman. I was a pole lineman in the military, and I worked with the cable company, and I did the high wire stuff. So I'm very familiar with poles, and I know the rules and regulations. And maybe I should be speaking, because Peter does a great job. So I can tell you, I know what I'm doing. I'm 84 years old. Been around a while. I should be checking out any time, I ain't sure, but that's all I have to say. That's it.
Thank you for coming. I saw another hand in the back corner. Again, name and address for the record so that Shari can hear you.
Mike Sherbury, 26 Montaleo, just as a member of the public, I do support this 100%. Myself, a working Green veteran, my son serving right now. I think it's a great idea, fantastic. I hope that the town crews.
I think, it sounds like we're in agreement of a next step being an MOU and this flag, adding to this flag policy so that we're not approving something in concept that's not aligned with our bylaw.
Yeah,
Does that sound like our next step is, getting the MOU sent around and, a concept pilot program?
once I get the MOU back from council, I'll send it around.
Okay.
I think the board can approve it, pending execution of the MOU.
Can we get the
Can we get a copy too?
No, okay.
Why don't you know, I think it'd be best if once the council
Yeah.
approves it, then you get a copy,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's not, but yes, we will get it back from council and send you all a copy
Great.
typically for comments.
Yeah.
And see if you have any ideas as to like, if you would want something else in the MOU.
Yeah.
And then we would get it back and then sign that MOU.
And if you can accept the 24 by 48, that's great. You know, we can talk to a company about making it smaller if that's the only way to get it approved, but,
My issue
Well,
wasn't with the size of the banner as much as being in concert with our bylaws.
Yeah.
Not being outside of.
We're gonna check with that and the bylaw, and I think the MOU will have the specifics, so we could tonight, for example, approve this pilot in concept pending the approval of the MOU, pending the signature of the MOU. So the MOU would be like crossing our T's and dotting our I's to make sure that it's in alignment with our policies, procedures, bylaw, all that sort of thing. So does that sound good for the group? Yes? All right.
Would you like a motion?
Yes, if you just say what I just said.
Ditto, move to ditto. Move to adopt the pilot program for the Scituate Legion Post 144 Hometowns Hero program pending the
The signature of the MOU.
signature of the what is the initial?
MOU. Memorandum of understanding.
And that's it.
Second.
All right, moved by Ms. Schlegel, seconded by Dr. Hanasenko, all in favor? Aye. So it is unanimous, and we will get you that, Jim will get you the MOU when we get it back.
Okay,
thank you very much.
thank you.
And thank you for all of your work on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what do we have next? Next, we have interviews for boards and committees.
Yeah.
Let's do
How you gonna do this?
historic. I'm gonna bring all the historic people up. We have historic commission and affordable housing, so is Brian, Michael, and Matt here? Are you Brian, Michael, or Matt?
I'm Matt.
Okay, come on up, please come to the seats up here. We've got Matt.
I think everyone's here in the room.
Oh, everyone's here in the room. Brian, Michael, and Matt, please come up. So first of all, thank you for volunteering and raising your hand to be on a board or committee. This town runs on volunteers, and we appreciate all of your efforts and appreciate you volunteering. So this is pretty informal. We just want to know why you want to do this and why now. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in volunteering now. So anyone can start.
Go down the line here.
Sure, I'll start. Fine. My name's Michael Chevry. I've lived in Scituate. I pretty much grew up here in Scituate. I'm a parishioner of St. Mary's Nativity here in town. I'm a graduate of Massachusetts Maritime Academy as a graduate as a deck officer. Served the United States Forces Service. Went back to the academy to get my master's degree in emergency management. Currently work with FEMA and disaster recovery around the country. My background with my interest in history has always been particularly with maritime history, but I'm also a prime member of French militia unit reenacting, as well as with Hingham militia, or private member of Hingham militia unit, doing a lot of reenactments around the town and communities here in Scituate. I guess obviously just between history in general with the French Indian War and the Revolutionary War and the Philippine War, all of which, Scituate had a very big part in. The maritime history of Scituate always intrigued me as well. Things I've worked with from a professional standpoint with historic facilities that have been damaged in disasters and things such as the Ringling Museum that we just had down in Florida. And wanting to protect those historic facilities we have here in Scituate and make sure that we're dealing with SHPO, and which I know we are, but just make sure that we're
up to standards on that and any kind of funds that we could have to help protect those facilities, so. But, yeah.
Thank you.
My name is Matt Flaherty. My family's been a residence here for about 20 years. I recently just finished a 2-year program at North Bennett Street School in Boston, focusing on preservation carpentry. I've always had an interest in history, studied history in college. Ever since my family's lived here, I've always kind of loved the history of the town. I think that really adds to the character of the town and what draws people here. So I acted on that interest. Previously, I had about 12 years experience in the corporate world, and I decided to, really start focusing on my passion, which is history and working with my hands. And I attended that program, like I mentioned, and just wrapped that up, where we learned a lot of practical building methods from pre-20th century buildings, and then also modern construction as well. So we really focused on how did they construct buildings back in the day, 17th, 18th, 19th century, and how do we preserve that or replicate it essentially. I've also worked part-time for a local preservation carpentry company restoring buildings. And then in a week or so, I'll be working with a company that full-time I'll be doing that with one company that I think is probably one of the leaders in this industry. But for me, like I said, that I think the history of this town is really what adds to the character, and I'm committed to preserving that as much as possible. And that's why I'm applying to the role.
Thank you.
Brian Cottonley. I've been in Scituate since '92. Excuse me. Through work and family commitments, this is really one of the opportunities that's popped up, and I'm a history buff, and I think it's a great opportunity to help the community. As part of the history buff, I'm a cemetery junkie. Love traveling around the world, going to cemeteries, finding out people's stories. A lot of military history. I was a journalism major as an undergrad, MBA, worked in corporate, and essentially I have the time to devote to a role like this now.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Any of the candidates? Yes.
Have any of you or all of you or any been to a historic commission meeting yet?
No, I've been to the historical committees, but not the historical commission, which is, a differential between the two.
I attended, I think it was last year, presentation on the preservation plan. That was in one meeting I attended.
Getting very close to being done, that preservation plan, they've been working hard.
They have, yeah.
We only have 2 seats, Shari?
We only have one,
No, two.
two?
2 seats and 3 applicants, so I guess.
Oh, that's great news, I thought we only had 1 seat. Or could we do a non-voting member as well? You only have one.
You have one associate not voting.
Yes.
Already.
Yes, so we can only have one,
Yeah.
so, got you.
Sorry, of course, we're all coming out.
May I say this?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Typically, in things like this, I've seen in the past, 3 valued people that are all stepping up, that have all asked for one specific commission. And we have this little unique dilemma that we have 3 valued people that we can't jam into 2 seats because it is what's appropriate. So the open-ended question would be, a non-committal, if the third person that's not going to be appointed would be interested in joining another committee, is that a feasible way to go? I respect the fact that you're willing to step up and help the town and give of your time. And it's just an open-ended question, you can either answer it or not.
Depends on what the commission position was, and if you had any experience in it, I mean, don't want to be on a board that I have no experience in,
I don't understand that, the other thing I might add to that, Jamie, is that, there's no rules stating that public can't come to an open meeting every month.
Well, valid point.
And be involved and be a volunteer and be involved in projects that the commission takes on and give input. The little voting seats are voting seats, I respect that, but, I appreciate all your interest and passion, history, military history, and such, so I would, in this scenario, I think there are certain committees where it's difficult to feel like you have a say when you don't have a vote. But I think the historical commission may have some, they don't have an intense level of drama that surrounds most votes in my experience. And I think that they love extra input and extra hands and extra energy.
Are you the liaison?
No, I am.
You are, okay, I'm trying to figure out who's the liaison. I was like trying to find, oh, here's my sheet, of course, it's at the bottom.
So the historical commission does make very important decisions when it comes to demolition reviews on people's properties. So that is a big deal to vote on. They are particularly looking for people with legal expertise, architectural experience, renovating old home experience, specifically in historic architecture. But Doug, the chair, is here, and I wanted to give him the opportunity if there was any questions he specifically wanted to ask these three candidates. If that's okay with you.
Yes, please. Yeah.
And so I would just say that the skills are really varied. I mean, we're tackling so many things in town right now that are historic that we want to try to improve upon. As was mentioned earlier, we're working on a very comprehensive historic preservation plan that we look forward to sharing with the board. We were able to get it down to 186 pages.
Great.
It is really exhaustive, but it's very well done. It's very comprehensive. We can't do everything at once, but I would echo what other folks said, is that even if you cannot be appointed as a voting member of the board, we certainly could use your help and expertise to execute this plan. So I would really look forward to that. And I believe the following year, there are 3 openings on the commission. It's just we're a little bit out of sync the way that the terms are staggered right now. So if somebody was not appointed and wanted to come to the meetings and be, participate, that would be a perfect on-ramp to be appointed as a full-time commissioner. So I thank you for offering to volunteer for the town. I was a volunteer myself, and how much work and commitment it can be. So we would welcome whoever gets appointed and whoever does not get appointed to really help us with that work.
Excellent.
Thank you. And thank you all. We usually decide at the end of our meeting, so no, you don't have to stick around. Shari will get in touch with you. So appreciate you volunteering.
Yeah, and on that note, I think that would be a perfect segue that I would be more than interested to fill that role as and again, it's really just, I'm looking to get out of the house, do some, what can you do to help the town? And it's a great place to live. And I wouldn't mind a role, something like that. So it sounds like you have, from a restoration perspective, that maybe that fits in a little bit more with what the town is, trying to do. And I'm perfectly open to that if it, came down to a situation where, that not everybody can slide into a role.
Thank you.
Very generous.
Shari, do we know what other boards and committees have openings?
I don't have the list with me right here, but I can certainly reach out.
So I will say, when I took a look at the open boards, the sister city, West Cork, jumped out. I've been to Ireland 30+ times. Have friends who live in West Cork. My family's from that area. I'm a genealogy buff as well. But I figured the most Irish town in America, that would be a coveted role. So I, went with Plan B on the Historical Society.
Scituate pays to go to Ireland, then I'll go.
Yeah, that's definitely not.
Sister City absolutely has space at that.
Oh,
They do?
all right, I think.
Did you hear that?
We have space in Sister City.
Yeah, press work.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you
well,
so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a
Thank
good
you,
evening.
John.
As well.
And thank you for volunteering again. Okay, next we have Sarah. Is she here? This. Please come up, and Skip was unable to attend, right?
So I presented all the letter in fact.
Okay, so this is for both Sarah and Skip are looking for affordable housing trust, which we are in desperate need of help, right? Don't we have, how many
There's more
openings?
than enough seats.
There, we could appoint up to 4 people.
Yep.
For the affordable housing trust, and we have,
Two.
2 applicants, Sarah, so please, same question, right? Like, tell us about yourself, and why you're interested, and why now.
Yeah, nice to meet all of you. My name's Sarah. I'm here first and foremost as a lifelong Scituate resident and someone that really cares about the town. The question of why now is, I think we all know the nation is facing a really bad unaffordability crisis. I think Scituate is following suit in that trend, just from what myself and other young people have noticed. So I do want to also be a voice from the younger generation that can kind of amplify these concerns. Yeah, I have experience with tackling this issue. I was doing a lot of research in my last 2 years of college on this crisis, and speaking directly with people that are going through it. Yeah, it's just something I feel really passionately about. And yeah, as someone that wants to have their future in this town, yeah, I care about it and want to be a voice that can work on these issues.
Yeah, any questions from the board? Jamie, you're the liaison, right?
I am.
I'm my liaison.
I'm the liaison.
David, where are you?
Have you been to an affordable housing trust meeting?
I have not in Scituate. In college, I was attending select board meetings around the topic of unaffordability. And it was upsetting because even though in the town where I went to school, that was the largest problem that they were facing, it never really got discussed during select board meetings. So no, not in Scituate, but yeah, I would love to be a part of that.
I'm just trying to get to your statement here.
It is on page
35.
35, yeah.
Because the problem with affordability is as you allude to, is rampant. It's all over the country. It's in every society. Maybe I'm just wondering whether you understand exactly what our AHT does. There have been times where they do promote, for example, they would buy up a piece of property and try and build a house to make it affordable, put it under restriction. We've almost lost that ability because we've run out of property. So now they're kind of doing some other things. The fact that the town itself is in a situation where the average price of a house is 1.1 million now makes it even greater challenging. So if you're willing to put up with those kind of, I don't want to say they're dire, but you're working with a different formula than you might be in another state where they've got lots of land and plenty of stuff. And, there, in those states, probably the income level is the hindrance.
Yeah.
But as long as you're willing to take the challenge, what college, man, especially, did you go to?
I attended Bennington College in Vermont. Yeah.
Cool, cool, excellent. I have no further questions.
Any other questions?
I love, we've said this before, I love when a younger generation comes with energy. I think it provides opportunities for different perspective. I think that we have a amazing citizenry full of people who are willing to give time, sometimes for varying reasons like paying bills and other things. The youngest generation might have trouble doing that. So whenever I see someone who is interested in doing that, I'm thrilled at that opportunity. And I think the more diversity on our affordability crisis we have, the more perspective we have, the more likely we are to come up with creative new ideas. So.
Any other questions?
No questions. I'm excited to see a young face up here as well.
Yeah. And I think your background is really great for even if it's in Vermont, which is
It's a
a
challenge.
great background. It's a challenge. It is really challenging committee, and thank you for volunteering. We also have so we do have 4 names, and Skip Fernandez is also has volunteered and sent his resume. Now we've interviewed him because he serves on another board.
Right.
And is interested in serving on 2 boards. In the past, we have appointed somebody to a second board when we don't have enough volunteers for the board. And this is one of those cases. And his background, he gave a little, did you have it somewhere?
Yeah, it's also in
It's in the backup, right? He's participated in Affordable Housing Trust meetings as a member of the community. He brings experience to the committee to support their mission, including he's a 7-year licensed real estate agent in the Commonwealth of Virginia. He's state chairperson of the Virginia Association of Realtors, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. He's been actively volunteering with Habitat for Humanity for 20 years. He's local in Massachusetts and presently the board of the New England Equity Collaborative, a nonprofit who is developing residential housing for individuals with intellectual disabilities in Plymouth County. So I think we have 2 very good and diverse candidates, and I think in this situation where we've already interviewed Skip, that and it's a committee desperately in need of folks, I would think that we should consider him as well.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what you all think. And again, we can do this at the end of the meeting, but and again, thank you, Sarah. We appreciate
Thank you for stepping
appreciate
up.
you stepping up.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay, so we are moving to, yes, such great candidates. It's the fun part of the agenda, right? So we have already done the collective bargaining. We are moving to the 750 item. Discussion of a refund of a sewer connection fee for 33 Beaver Dam Road. Joe and Nice, Rivermore Development LLC, Mike Reynolds, Rivermore Development LLC.
I'm Mike Reynolds, I'm here to represent Rivermore.
Okay, oh, perfect. I'm just reading it.
And Will's at the sewer plant.
And yes, oh my God, he is no, that's just his background.
That's the guy.
He is not there, it's sarcasm. I love that your background is
It's always sunny at the soil.
It's always sunny.
That's my background too.
And it, yeah, smells like roses. Okay. Please tell us why you're here.
So we had, obviously things look better on paper sometimes, and we had grand plans of having an ADU and a new dwelling. We applied for permits to have 2 sewer connections. We were granted that. We paid 2 fees. Once things were built, once we could see them in person, ADU just looked out of place with the brand new house. It was too congested on the property, and we decided to demo the property. That second connection was never used. I believe Will came out and verified that as well. And we're seeking a refund of the $16,000 that we paid. So we paid $32,000 and we're seeking $16,000. We paid 2 different checks. One was for the ADU and one was for the main house.
Okay.
So the issue from our point of view, not even getting into the merits of the question, Nancy and I original look at it was, payment was made in fiscal '25. rebate was crossing fiscal '26, it's crossing fiscal years.
Mhm.
So we believe that that would require town meeting vote to make that payment. We received a letter from his counsel disputing that. We gave that to our counsel, who spoke to the Division of Local Services, and said, there's really no mechanism by which you can make that payment. Which means if the board would like to do some sort of refund, we would have to go to some sort of town meeting. And that's not even getting to the merits, that's just Nancy and I. Nancy does not have the ability to process that payment without some sort of affirmative vote.
From town meeting.
I would say town meeting, yeah.
Town meeting. And have we ever given refunds?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know if this has ever come up before, Will. I don't believe it has. The ADU is kind of a new thing. You wouldn't really have two connections for one property. Without the ADU, so.
Yeah, to my knowledge, we've never refunded a fee like this or a betterment like this. It's for a betterment that's associated with the parcel. So if the parcel ever wishes to modify or construct a building in the future, they have access to that benefit.
Right, which I think we've had that come up in the past where there has been a benefit.
Yeah, it doesn't go
Like
away.
years ago, it never goes away, it never goes away, so 2 owners from now could come to us and get the connection.
Someone could ask to put an ADU and they would not be required to pay a connection fee, that's correct.
But that also would be part of the sale of the value of the property if you were ever to sell. You'd be able to say we've got an ADU right of betterment as well as the house.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a value.
Yeah, I mean, our opinion would be that if it was refunded, there was never an assessment done on it and there was never a betterment issued for it. It was simply a permit fee that we paid that was never used.
Not a betterment, it's a connection fee.
Right.
Secondly, we were supposed to be connecting down at Beaver Dam and Jericho, but that was subsequently paved over and then a moratorium put in place. So we had to get re-engineering done to go up the street, which caused, more costs and obviously a different pumping system because you're going uphill now. So there were a lot of other factors that came into play in this and a timeline that went with it coming into the season when the moratorium was on, plus the fact that the road moratorium goes in place for the winter. So that's why this time frame went into the 26th. So I don't see this being any different than, you prepaid your excise tax and you're looking for an abatement on it. We prepaid for something that wasn't used. We didn't use any town services. The fee has been in the town's, getting the betterment of the finances of that and the interest on it. We haven't had that, and we're just looking to get refunded for it that we didn't use it. So if somebody wants to do an ADU in the future, they have to go apply for that ADU. They have to get permits for that ADU. They're gonna have to pay for that connection fee again. They're gonna have to pay for all the permit fees, the water, everything that goes with it.
You didn't pay for the water, you just paid for the sewer?
Correct.
But our council is saying that we as a board cannot make this decision and give you a refund, is our
Well,
understanding.
we could make the decision to bring it before town
You
meeting.
we could take this
Talk
under
back
advisement.
abatements, those things, there's a statutory process by which we make those payments. Again, I'm not even getting into the merits of it, right? Just, Nancy brought it up, I agree with it, that we didn't think we had a method to do this. Their council disagreed, our council reviewed it with Division of Labor Services, was our revenue. They said, they don't know what the mechanism would be either, so we would have to.
So
do
we
something.
currently, our council currently doesn't know what the mechanism will be, but he thinks it might be taking it to town meeting. It sounds to me like we need to figure out if there is a mechanism,
If
what
town
it
meeting-
is.
If town meeting voted, I do not know how we would word the article, but if town meeting voted to make the payment, then we would make the payment. We would be able to do that. The Division of Local Services is not gonna come down and say, no, you can't do that, town wants to do it, just to give him a rebate now.
I also think this sets up a bad
We can't do
precedent.
it.
My personal opinion is, how many outstanding, like if everybody tried to get a refund on every single connection that we have listed that no one's connected, what would the town be liable for?
Well, again, there's connection fee, normally if you get a connection fee, you connect. Okay, if you have a betterment, the store run by your house, and you pay a betterment, you don't have to connect right away. So you pay for the store and you can connect later, but if you are getting a connection fee, then you are paying to bring that connection and connect it. You're generally not paying for it. If that makes sense, on a sewer, maybe on water, does that make sense, Will?
Yeah, I mean, the other confusing
Yes.
part and I'm not sure how up to date it is, but the website still says that for an ADU, the connection fee is $8,000. So I don't know if that's up to date or not, but
That'd be updated at 16.
okay. But the website still shows 8,000. So that was another question of, did we overpay for something? But there seems like there should be a mechanism in place for something that gets refunded when you don't use it. I know you talked about precedent, but we talked about every case here earlier for other stuff, not setting precedents, dealing with it on a case-by-case basis. We didn't use the service. It didn't cost the town any money. It actually cost us money with engineering and have to refocus on other stuff. We really don't want to have to go any further with this, but the cost that we had to expend to get to where we needed to be, permits that were already approved for Jericho and Beaver Dam, not being notified that it was going to be paved, and seeing something on a website, then trying to beat the gun on that and being told that we couldn't start on that because it's a moratorium now because it was paved through. So there was a lot of different things that went on that kept this timeline going. And it was a struggle.
I'm confused. I know we can't do anything about this, but was the ADU in existence and then you built a house, or you were building a house and an ADU?
The ADU was in existence.
Okay.
It had a failed sewer when we bought it, and the people that sold it to us had gotten an emergency connection prior to us purchasing the land. We spent some time and some money trying to get it permitted to keep the ADU, which in hindsight was a mistake, but we did build a new residence, and we decided that the ADU did not look in place there.
It was an existing home.
Yeah.
They converted to an ADU. So they had to make it smaller because it exceeded the maximum size of 900 square feet.
Okay.
So they converted the existing house to the ADU and they built a new unit up front. A little backwards though, when you have the house and you build the ADU. but-
Right.
Yeah, the thought process was with the new bylaws that were going in place, it was still in flux. More Haley was saying that 900 square feet, by right, this was a non-conforming structure. We were going to bring it into conformance and try to use it. There's a lot of people in town that want ADUs. It just didn't look right next to a new house, and we decided that we were going to demo it, and that's where we are now.
Any other questions?
Can I
Sure.
ask just a technical, so this existing structure, the previous owner, by emergency because of the failed system,
It's got a sewer connection, correct?
got a sewer connection. That's where this started. Then the new owner bought and decided that they were gonna build a house as well
And there were two connections.
and do the connection there, but then receive the connection on the existing one that was granted because of the emergency sewer failure of the field, of the system,
Well, they would have the one connection for the home,
for the new house.
and then they would add a second connection for the ADU.
Right, but that second connection was originally a connection granted because of the failure of the field or the septic, whatever you want to
For the
call it,
original house.
when they bought the house as an original house, right?
The connection went to the original owner,
Yes,
who got the sewer connection,
right,
which there's no sewer line, so they had to run a sewer line, and then it was sold.
right.
And then there were two connections, so they had the connection that we granted them with the ADU. We couldn't say no, they couldn't connect a second dwelling just because of the way the state wrote the regulation, so they had two connections. Now they're only using one, and they'd like to be rebated for that second connection because they're not using it.
Is that old house still there?
No.
It's gone.
But they had connected and now it's this.
It was never connected.
I think the infrastructure was put in, the tap into the road, there's a connection there.
Correct.
So there's a sewer connection coming off a sewer line that they ran. It's not connected, it's just there.
Okay.
You have a question?
Yeah, I guess on the timeline in this moratorium, can you take me to the timeline? I mean, so you tried to connect, and the town said, no, you can't connect,
So-
or what?
The original connection was, I believe, February 24. Yeah.
Yeah, just as far as like freshening up things, we applied for the permit. Drawings were reviewed, they were approved. The connection of intersection of Beaver Dam and Jericho, that's the only connection point downhill. That permit was issued on 8/15/25. On 8/18/25, a notice came out from the town that there was road work that was gonna be done milling at that corner in that section. So we'd just gotten our road.
3 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
So,
So we were now squeezed into getting it done before it got milled and repaved, even though it didn't make sense that it was coming through Beaver Dam when the work was on Jericho. Our connection was gonna be on Beaver Dam. But that's what we were dealt. We asked if we could jump the gun and get it done before. We were told we couldn't get police details because it'd be too busy. So now we had to get re-engineered to come up the street towards Hazel. And that's where timelines got lost. Engineering had to be done, had to be approved again. And we had to deal with, the winter months coming on with asphalt plants shutting down and the roads being shut down till the spring again.
So the emergency connection was granted August 24. For emergency connection for the house. They didn't apply to connect until almost a year later. At that point, we were repaving Jericho from when we did the water and soil line work, that extended into Beaver Dam, so we did the intersection of Beaver Dam at the same time.
Was the other house already under construction?
This was all under, so the reason it took so long from 24 was because of permitting and trying to get it approved for an ADU to be on the property in a reverse order.
Again, if the board wants to do it,
Gotta be a town meeting.
it's gonna be a town meeting, yeah.
Well, we need our council to tell us a mechanism to do it.
To give us language, yeah.
Yeah, if we wanna do it, but we cannot do it here, we cannot make a
That
decision.
is not, that's the opinion of
maybe.
council. If his attorney, if Adam can, I know we talked to Adam the other day, Adam Pulaski's, if Adam can convince him otherwise, and he tells me it's okay, then we'll do something, but until then.
Yeah, my understanding was the attorney for town council didn't get an opinion from DSL or whoever he was. They wouldn't make an opinion on it, so they said we had to come to town meeting to discuss it here. Well, I mean, to the board of selectmen, and then it might have to go to town meeting. There was no real in writing that that's the way it has to be. I think it was left open to be decided at this meeting. I guess that's the purpose of this meeting.
The opinion I got from town council was DLS told me it wasn't a mechanism to do. So it's his opinion, it needs some sort of town meeting.
So, for my part, I'd be curious to dive a little deeper on the mechanism part of this, to try to understand it. It's a fairly unique scenario to my understanding, and it sounds to me like you've done what was asked of you and what was required of you to try and follow town guidance and town bylaws and town permitting procedures. So I don't necessarily think that there's a reason to understand that you're trying to bend rules just to shave money off the project as much as you got caught in a difficult situation. I'm willing to accept that much, but I'm also clear on the fact that we don't have the authority to really clearly do this right now. Whether we can explore options on that, I think I'd like to dive a little bit deeper and see if there's a logical way. I'm still a little hesitant on opening a can of worms on refunds. And I have sort of a different perspective on the other side of this fence that you do have the opportunity to sell the house with 2 connections, whether you choose to or not. You chose to look at the ADUs. That wasn't a town decision, that was a private decision, and that just didn't work out the way you wanted to. So there's kind of a little mess on both sides of the fence for me about wanting to try and understand how to help a resident who got stuck in a timeline problem with the lack of a mechanism, and at the same time, not open a can of worms for other residents to follow just to try and shave money off of the project that didn't go the way they wanted to go. So I'm kind of 50-50 on this, but I would like to look into the mechanism, just to understand if we even have a possible path. And going to town meeting, might not be the end of the world, but that's where cans of worms tend to get opened wide. So I'm hesitant. So I'd like to explore that a little bit and table this.
Yeah, and I do agree with you. I think it's a unique situation because anybody that gets a connection for town sewer,
Usually
take it like that.
usually-
There's no turning their back on it and saying, I'm gonna go to, septic system.
So, I mean, am I hearing that we kind of table this and get more information?
That's my
I
preference.
think,
Table it and ask.
I don't wanna make a wrong decision, we've gotta, maybe council can research what our options would be.
That would be good.
Maybe others, are we in
Yeah,
agreement
I'll
to do that? Okay. So then I
So
don't,
it's not a no.
it's not a, it's not a yes.
I I hear that enough at home.
Oh, yeah, my kids say that a
Really?
lot.
I'll have it
No.
no.
I don't know, but it's not a yes.
Yeah, no worries.
So let's explore this a little bit.
Yeah.
Happy to take, have
I'm open. Unfortunately, been talking to council a lot lately, so.
Okay,
All right, thanks for your
all
time.
right, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, I don't have a charger. I don't even have my, I bought a different computer because my computer wasn't working. But what did, yeah, what do we have? Oh, we've got, award of contracts, and we've got a bunch of IT problems, so why don't we invite the IT director? Because we're awarding contracts.
Gotta be quick.
Gotta be quick, because we're running out of juice
Like the
here.
lightning lately.
I'm quick, just depending upon how many questions and if
Amazing.
Yeah, I think we've all looked at the kind of presentation, and I don't know, I think what we really need is, no, just a very brief summary, and like, for me, why, I get it's more expensive. We're gonna hear again, because we hear it at almost every agenda item related to money, is everything more expensive? Exceedingly more expensive. Why is it important to the town to find the money and get it? So please, Mike.
All right.
Tell us about this.
We
What
don't-
happens if we don't? Yes.
All right, so, real quick, as quickly as I can without skipping details, to take a step back, virtual servers, is everybody clear on what they are? Should I go quickly over what that is?
I don't know what it is.
All right, picture, in our case, 3 apartment buildings. 2 of them are gonna be housed at public safety in our primary data center, one's gonna be in our disaster recovery site, which is at the senior center. In an apartment building, you have apartments, so those are our virtual servers, but the apartment building itself is the virtual host, that's where all the money is, that's what we're talking about, the apartment building, the virtual host. And then in production, in public safety, we can move the apartments, the virtual servers, between hosts, between apartment buildings. And that happens automatically in the event of a piece of hardware that fails. All the virtual machines will move over to one. If we're doing maintenance on one, we can move all over to one. That's relevant because that's one of the considerations that we have to talk about. So that's it in a nutshell.
Do these apartments have a sewer connection?
They can, but I'm gonna want a rebate. We did approve 350,000. We thought 300,000 was actually going to be the number based on a number of factors, including the fact that 5.5 years ago we spent a micro fraction of, I think it was I have the number coming up. It's like $138,000 in total for a project that's now proposed to cost us over 500,000. So I felt 300,000. My vendor thought 300,000 was going to be the number. They put some contingency in there, asked for 350, and here we are. When the budgets were submitted on October 2nd, which is when our budgets were due, you can see in the graph here, that's the red line. Memory prices were fairly flat at the time, and then about a month and a half later, they took off. AI data centers, they've been on the news, they're popping up everywhere. The demand to build them out, they're requiring hard drives, they're requiring memory, driving prices up. November, again, right after the budgets were submitted, they went from 4,900 per 64 gig chip, so per chip, to 42,000 per chip. These are MSRPs.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading this thing.
We're in the wrong business, right?
Yeah, Northeast University, 90% increase month over month.
Nuts.
90%, one month to the next.
They're such high
It's like
demand.
wicked expensive.
The servers are basically where we keep all our information.
So everything, Munis, police systems,
All our software.
when you turn your computer on, you're talking with a bunch of servers simultaneously. It's literally everything. It manages our security system, physical security, cybersecurity. If it exists on your screen, it's coming from one of our virtual servers that we're talking about today. Prices are rapidly increasing such that we've been negotiating, myself, my reseller, and in my recent, I've been talking to HP, Hewlett Packard, directly, and trying to negotiate better prices, and every time we do, they give us a couple of $1,000s, you know, and then the last time we said, all right, look, we just need something more substantial, take it to management. They came back and they said, not only can we not give you another discount, we're increasing our MSRP by $500,000. Sorry, can't say that without laughing. So no, there will not be any decrease. There will be an increase if you don't go through with this by the time our quote expires. So our quote's valid through June 30th. If we let that lapse, we're already looking at a known increase. And everybody in the industry, all the vendors in the industry are talking about pricing going up. This is from CDW, the box down here, basically saying, hey, we'll give you a quote today, but we can't guarantee the price until it actually ships. Something brand new, never seen this before.
I've seen it in my industry, been going on for the last year.
So our options are, we could go to special town meeting and see if we can raise money there. We can move to a lesser expensive, more budget friendly, but very poorly engineered solution.
That's high risk, right? That's a high risk.
So it's,
We'll be looking at the
yes,
problem again.
yeah. And
More money,
Or we'll have a bridge.
significantly more money. With it's going up is nuts.
And then the third option would be to move money from the solar array.
I'm in favor of that.
Option A, so it's a $400,000 three-tier solution, multi vendors. So when you have a problem, everybody does this, and it's just going to delay repairs. But the biggest things here, and I've underlined it there, is no data deduplication. So how that works is if I have a Windows operating system and I have it 40 times, it's only taking one copy, and then everything is we're just storing the differences. In this solution, we will have it 40 times. So it takes up more space, requires more hard drive space, requires more effort to back it up, move it around the network. And everything is third party. There's no built-in anything. It's always using a third party. No replication to DR, no automatic backups. We can back it up, we can replicate it, but it requires more software. Option B is it's identical to what we have today, only the next generation. It's the 11th generation. We currently are on generation 10. Exactly the same configuration, literally the same everything, just the price is different, a lot different, as I had mentioned earlier. The issue with going with the same is, as I mentioned earlier, when we do maintenance, we move all the virtual machines from one host, one apartment building over to the other to do maintenance. Or if in the event of a hardware failure, which we have had, and the systems automatically fail over to keep us up and running, all the servers can no longer run on a single host because we have added servers over the years that consume memory, and there's not enough for all of them to run simultaneously. So basically, we don't have enough places to put more apartments within the apartment building. So we need to increase that memory, which brings us to option C for 13,000 more than option B, but still a lot more than what we've allocated for the project. This gives us additional memory that allows us to resolve that issue that I just described, and allows us, if we ever spin up more servers in the future, in the next 6 years.
And this was the virtual.
So this
server
is
that
a
kept-
6-year solution, did I just hear?
Sorry, go ahead, Nancy.
Just that this is the capital plan item that was approved, was option C.
Originally,
Right.
yes.
Not the cost, but.
Not the cost,
Right.
but the actual
specs.
option was
So-
approved, not the cost, but did you just say this is a 6-year solution?
Yeah, even our current systems, by the time we will replace it, it's up in March. It'll be 6 years old.
More than 5.
Yeah, but this,
And then we
option would give us 6 more years.
6 more. So
Okay.
we buy it with a 5-year, and then we buy a 1-year extension,
Okay,
which we just did on the current system to get us to March.
okay, thank you, and Nico, did you?
Yeah, a couple. So, but to tag off of that question, when you say it buys us 5+1 years of warranty, you're talking about a warranty on the system. You're not talking about a warranty on our needs.
I'm sorry, the last part on
Our needs could increase.
Oh, they could, but the added memory capacity should address it. There's been an analysis that has been done over past growth for the past 5.5 years.
He is estimating to buy us good usage into the future here.
The 6 years.
I guess, sort of the same question, but slightly different. What's the next problem you intend to have? No, I don't mean that at you, Mike, because I understand you're fixing our problems. What's the next projected risk scenario that we're gonna fall into aside from?
You mean like big?
So I guess, let me try to say that better. We need more server space. Servers just went through the roof. I don't see that stopping, I see that accelerating. And but I've asked this question before, just hypotheticals here. We need to buy 2 more apartments, we need to buy 2 more servers, and it's gonna cost us $49,000 a pop. Is there a practical value to buying 3 right now when they're guaranteed by Hewlett Packard before they also show us a notice that they can't guarantee anything?
There is not on this topic. There isn't.
Okay.
But to answer your question, there were 2 other pieces of hardware that were originally packaged with this project. Yeah, that I've completely scrapped. Those are just external hard drives that sit independent of those 3 apartment buildings, and then we back up to them, and then they get moved around the network. They get copied up to the cloud, and all that stuff. We're going to keep those. They're backups to the backup, so they're not as mission critical as these. So we might see them in a year or 2 on another capital article, but they're not time sensitive like these.
But they're a different type of hardware than the servers that are currently
Right.
AI crucial and becoming.
Correct. Correct. Because they don't have the memory, the expensive memory in it. They're just a bank of dumb hard drives.
So I appreciate the explanations. Based on that, I think that it doesn't make sense to do anything other than just state
Yes, I want to make the observation that this gentleman who runs this department professionally has been working under very lean times already, both with the challenges of, I don't know if I'm gonna call it the right thing, the equipment and the program and all of that, plus also the labor challenges that he's under. I think this is the best option. It's the most dynamic, and it cuts, we're working against time, and this resolves the time issue, because the longer this goes on, we're gonna be seeing, it's not gonna be fun, so I'd rather just move forward and get this done, so.
I think sounds like we're in agreement.
Sorry, I did have one more question. You said that CW does, but HP is guaranteeing us this number until the 30th.
Through the reseller. So the resellers quote to us, that was part of the package, has an expiration date of June 30th.
Right, does someone have a
We
motion?
move to award a contract to EcoStar Solutions in the amount of $525,000.
27.
Well, oh, sorry, what did I say? $527,621.87 for HPE Simply Vite virtual servers, and further to transfer $134,683 for the from the solar array revolving fund to support such purpose.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Schlegel, seconded by Mr. Goodrich. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, yes, next on the agenda.
Is Mike.
Surprise. Oh, right, sorry, contract, another contract corporation.
So this is the fiber grant that we've won again. So this now makes about $950,000 in fiber optic grants that we've secured in the past few years.
Nice.
Pros and cons to that, and this one too, is every time we add fiber, connect a new building, in this case, the WPA building for the Veterans Department, the new sewer pump station in the WPA area, Masquashit Pond pump station we're connecting, and then a lot to do with the new water treatment plant. It's all new networks, more burden on IT, more time. So just it's great that we can get the money in grants, but there's a negative side to this. That said, the projects I just mentioned and then some of the other ones that are included necessary to move forward to be able to move the veterans department there and bring on the new pump stations and stuff like that. So just wanted to mention that as great as it is to get the $250,000 grant, there is a negative.
Which is that it burns out our staff.
It does, and it has, because already we've brought on every single water and sewer. This is probably the last grant that we'll seek. By now, every other water and sewer location has been brought on fiber. Collectively, not including this, we've already brought on 60 new networks, hundreds of new IP devices across, I forget all the statistics now. I think it was like 18 new buildings, same IT staff. So we're now bringing on a bunch more new sites, new buildings, more networks. So it's just adding up. So if you guys wanted to reject the grant, we could do that too.
Or we could just clone you, right?
I wish, yeah.
Any questions? Comments?
And
Ready for a motion?
All right, move to award the contract to Comtract Corp in the amount of $306,138.50 for engineering and continued installation of fiber optic municipal area network.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Schlegel, seconded by Mr. Gilmore, all in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good night. Next, we have an easement to Mass Electric Company, National Grid, and Verizon of New England for installation of an overhead system at Widows Walk Golf Course, 250 Driftway, Scituate. Nancy, you're up.
This will just provide an easement so we can have electric chargers at the golf course.
And this was something we got a grant for a while
Correct.
back, right?
Yeah, we have a grant for the chargers.
What's that gonna do for the parking at the golf course?
Like two spots.
Yeah, and you can still park there if you're
When
non-electric.
it's full, it's not gonna make a difference, Jamie, it's full.
You can park in an electric parking spot if you're not electric.
I don't know anything that's gonna.
You're not
I've
supposed
seen
to,
it
but
happen.
Some of us may not be happy.
I don't think it says towing, if it's not labeled towing, they can't really tow, can they?
sure we have.
No,
Yes. So there's plenty of electric cars down that are parking in regular spots. It's just people down. It's kind of a shifting around.
It's the social contract. Those people are good.
All right,
I'm trying.
all right, questions, no questions, comments, we're just trying to find what page it is.
I don't see a vote.
No.
No, that's the fuel
Fuel
tank.
tank.
Move to grant easement of Mass Electric Company, National Grid, and Verizon in New England for installation of overhead system of Widows Walk Golf Course, 250 Driftway, Scituate.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Goodrich, seconded by Dr. Konosenko, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Next, we have. Next, opt-in of temporary pilot to extend the hours for on-premise licenses to allow the sale of alcoholic beverages for 1 additional hour and to allow for public consumption in designated districts in summer 2026, chapter 96 of the Acts 2026 H. 5482, Jim Woodrow is going to tell us about this.
Yeah, really, this is one of those things that's up to the board. The governor signed the law. Susan just went over, basically allows pouring establishments to be open 1 hour later than their license time between now and July 31st. However, no later than 3 a.m. So if your closing time is 1, you can close at 2. Close at 2, you can close at 3, but you can't go later than 3. We received 1 call from the Voyage asking if we had done anything on this. No, but we can bring it up. I am not proposing or asking the board to do public consumption zones. I don't think those are viable or we do anything like that. The only town I know that's done it right now is Abington. Abington did it a week ago. Another business has opted in. Plainville rejected it. None of the businesses are interested. They can't get the staff. Hanover will probably be taking it up in a week. Hingham will probably put it on the agenda, but they didn't seem to be any appetite to do it. So really, it's up to you. This is to take advantage of the World Cup. Boston 250 and Sail Boston. I don't know what kind of demand it would be. The requirements would be, if you approve this, licensed establishment would have to apply to us in writing, telling us they wish to do it. We would then inform the Situate Police Department, and the ABCC would require to tell ABCC which establishments are going to do it. We'll make that list, we'll provide it. Chief Thompson's looked at it. He had one comment. If the board does it, he would like you to encourage the establishments to keep their kitchens open later, so there's food for people. And he would like to have the authority, if necessary, if things are not going well, to require a detail.
What time do our establishments close right now? They're not open until 2 in the morning.
No, 1 o'clock on the weekends. They continue.
Majority of them.
The latest is 1 o'clock on the weekends.
This is only a one-time, currently temporary
Only
pilot
for the
program.
month.
It ends in 5 weeks.
It's July 31st, correct.
It's gonna be shortened by the fact that somebody would have to hear about it from us tonight, write us in writing, and then get all the other writing sent out to the ABCC and everything
Probably
else.
talking next week would be the soonest, I think.
So they're gonna have a maximum of 4 weeks to put this in place, plus they have to staff it for those 4 weeks, which they have to figure out.
I think, Madam Chair,
Yes.
I think my opinion is that this was great for the governor, for the city of Boston, maybe some of the bigger regional areas when it was enacted in that regard, but now time has moved on. I don't think it's worth doing. I just, for this small town, we're already open till 1 in the morning, and not all of these businesses stay open till 1. A lot of them shut down as soon as the business fends off, 9:30, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So I just don't think it's.
Yeah, but this is late for me, 8:30. I'm like,
I
you know, I watch it tell me the red time.
I'm surprised you're still awake.
It's way past my bedtime.
My eyes are painted.
My only thing is one of the businesses did ask.
They didn't ask to be open, they just asked if we were.
Asked if we were doing anything.
I don't know. The issues that I've heard anecdotally is, who wants to work?
Where's the point?
I mean, I would say leave it up to the businesses. There is no harm in us allowing this if nobody wants it.
I think the boys would probably do it. The boys would do it.
Can I get one?
The counter-
Given a business.
No, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say that I think the Voyage is probably the one place where there's no harm in seeing if they wanna take advantage of it. The ulterior perspective I would give, at least as a perspective, is the 1 or 2 places that might do it might include somebody on Front Street who does wanna do it, and then we're gonna get a whole bunch of butter complaints about the fact that they're now open until 2 o'clock in the morning, legal or not legal. We get complaints about that anytime somebody opens the
This
door.
would not be any sort of music or entertainment extension.
No, it doesn't change it.
It does not change, it does not change the music,
No.
entertainment, noise, have to keep the doors shut, what do we tell them, 10 o'clock? On the weekend?
I think that what you'll see is those late night revelers that can sometimes cause issues will be causing an issue at 2 o'clock in the morning instead of at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know?
I mean, this doesn't even include heritage days. This is over before heritage.
Yeah. I agree that Boyd would probably do it, but
They would probably do it, but you know, again, 8:30 is late for me. My mother always said nothing good happened after 10. But it's really up to you guys, I put it before you, because I think we should make some sort of decision, yes or no. So we can get back to them and say, yeah, we're not gonna do it, okay. We're trying.
Do we get a lot of calls at 1 in the morning?
For noise complaints?
Yeah.
More in the past, after we had the long discussions last year about outside seating and that stuff like that, I sat down with Chief Thompson. He put out an order to the midnight to 8 shift, basically, that you will make sure someone is spending time in the harbor when businesses are getting out at the end of the night. So they reissued that order this year. I think that's cut down a lot of the complaints. The noise complaints, we tend to get more music complaints than rowdiness, but we tend to try to have a cruiser down there at the 12:30, 1 o'clock time, just to kind of
really think I'm in favor of this, and I'm not suggesting where Jamie would vote, but I think I agree with Jamie's thinking that this is something that was designed for the governor in Boston. I really don't think this was designed for Scituate in mind, and I think we have, I mean, you know, I go down the front street occasionally and we're usually, the select board usually the ones closing down establishment after our meeting, and we're usually the last ones that are on Front Street. So I don't know that there's any value or point to this. I understand maybe there might be one establishment that is interested, but I think by the time they get their act together, the opportunity is already over. I'm not really in favor of it myself. That's where I stand.
I'm on the side of, I get that it was designed for Boston and cities, but if we have one person asking about it and 1 hour would make a difference to their business, then I would be for it. Anyway, but I mean, that's just where I stand. But I'm happy to entertain any motion that anyone wants to give.
I would move to opt in of the temporary pilot to extend on-premises license to sell alcoholic beverages for an additional hour indoors only until June 31st, 2026.
July.
Sorry, July. It's past my bedtime, it's almost 9 o'clock.
Moved by Ms. Schlegel, do we have a second? Okay, we have a second by Mr. Goodrich, all in favor? Aye. So we've got 3 all opposed.
No.
2 no, so it passes with a 3-2 vote.
So we will let the businesses know, when we get a list of someone says, I wanna do it. And we'll let Chief know, we'll let KDCC know, and we'll let you guys know who did it, so you at least know the establishment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next we have Nancy with one of our favorite things to do,
Yes.
accept a donation to the fire department from Seaside in Scituate, which we always appreciate donations. Thank them.
So the volunteer team at Seaside at Scituate basically put out a can and took up donations and had brought in a $688 cash donation on behalf of the Scituate Fire Department for the services that they provide to that community, and they were very appreciative.
Donate.
Well, we thank them. Do we have a motion?
And move to gratefully accept the select board that select board accept the $688 donation from the Seaside at Scituate volunteer team for the benefit of the Scituate Fire.
Moved by Ms. Schlegel, seconded by Mr. Goodrich, and all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have board and committee appointments and renewals. So let's go with the first, we have appointments on historic and affordable housing. And let me get my notes. For affordable housing, let's start with that. There was 2 applicants, and we have 4 positions.
May I make a motion?
Sure.
I move for Affordable Housing Trust that we appoint Sarah Siciliano and Skip Fernandos for a term of 3 years or unless,
I think it's 2 years,
2 years unless
or until its successor is named.
found, yes.
Okay, moved by Mr. Gilmore, seconded by Dr. Fontenko, all in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous, and thank you again for your service and volunteering. The Historic Commission, we had 2 positions, is that correct?
Correct.
And we had 3 folks, but then we also had one, Mr. Conley was interested in Sister City, which we also have an opening for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can we move to appoint 2 to Historic and 1 to Sister City?
Why not?
Can we do that? I would think that, I think that would be great. I think he's a great applicant for Westport.
I motion,
I would love a motion.
move to appoint to Historic Commission for a term of 3 years or until successors named by Michael Chevry and Matt Flaherty. Further, move to appoint Brian Conley to the Irish Sister City Committee for a term of 3 years or until a successor is named.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gilmore, seconded by, Ms. Schlegel, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then next we have some renewals, which these folks have gotten their paperwork in, and it's, routine renewals.
Move to reappoint Jelena Abs, the Sister City Patriot Cabinet of Fuego Committee for a term of 2 years or until a successor is named. Move to reappoint Douglas Smith to the Historic Commission for a term of 3 years or until a successor is named. Move to reappoint Lincoln Heineman to the Bylaw Review Committee for a term of 3 years or until a successor is named.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Schlegel, seconded by, Mr. Gilmore, all in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. What do we have next? We are discussing the FY 28 budget calendar.
Do we have a budget calendar?
We do, it's in the packet way at the end. It is on page 138.
113.
The Select Board Advisory and Capital Planning Committee budget meeting schedule for the fiscal year of 2028, which Nancy has pulled together. Nancy, please.
This is, the fiscal 28 budget process will start in August, believe it or not. So we just want to get the calendar and the hearing schedule set up. Everything is subject to change. The select board hasn't voted their 2027 meeting dates, and the chairs of capital planning or advisory committee may move something around, or a department may have a conflict. But this just gives us the framework of what our deadlines are and when things are expected. You know I love a list.
And far away.
Or the winter.
I can't wish away my summer, but I appreciate you pulling this together. Any questions? Okay.
Are we voting on this? Motion?
We need to do, what do we need to do?
Motion.
We do need to approve the calendar, but it is also approval with the subject to change once the select board sets the meeting date
Right.
and availability and all that sort of thing.
Motion?
Yes, I will.
Move to approve the fiscal year 28 budget calendar and hearing schedule, which is subject to change once the select board sets its meeting dates for calendar year 2007.
Second.
Mr. Gilmore, seconded by Ms. Schlegel, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any correspondence? I didn't see any in the packet. Is there
I have
any?
no correspondence, and I don't think Ray would because she wasn't there.
I have some stuff from my boards and committees, if we want to hear about that.
Well, that would be, that's, okay, but that's, we're done, we have no correspondence, so 0 on that. Does
Boards and
anyone-
committees is not on this agenda.
Well, we can, it is correspondence.
It's
technically.
correspondence.
But I have that too.
All right, well, let's talk about that then. But I'm gonna
You're
let
on
Freya
this.
start since
Let's
she
Freya
has the
start. Go
floor.
ahead. Ray, go ahead.
All right, the Water Resources is desperately looking for, they have,
Water?
Water or resources?
they need water, but they also need 4 people on their committee. And they're looking for guidance on what they want our commission to do. I can forward you guys the email that their new chair sent to me. They're really wanting to know exactly where they stand. Apparently, there's several people who are involved who are like water people, like engineers, whatever, but they don't want to just get on board if they're not actually advising us, because they felt like they were just screaming into the abyss. So I don't know if that's something that we need to discuss.
Or I would say, Madam Chair, I would suggest we have them come in and talk to us.
Yeah, if we could get them on
Okay.
Come on, you know.
a
We can add
agenda,
it to a tentative agenda, future agenda item.
that would be wonderful. That would make them very happy.
I do know they're definitely important. There was always a representative on the zoning board that would attend the meetings.
Madam
and give
Chair,
advice
it would
as well
also-
as others, so.
It would also be useful if we could get their charge or what their order is.
Yeah, so they did go over their charge, and their charge is basically to liaise with the, at the time, it was the North South River Commission, members of the DPW, members of the, water department. But they don't feel like they don't have anybody from the water department coming from their meetings. they're finding it hard to get information from the water department. Nobody from the DPW is coming to their meetings, and nobody from the North-South River watershed is coming to the meetings. So they've just sort of been spinning their wheels for a while, and they feel like they're wasting their time, and I think that's one of the reasons, not everyone left because of that, but people were finding other things to volunteer with because they weren't feeling like they were doing anything. And I personally feel like water is our most important resource, not just in this town, but in the entire world, to have clean drinking water. So I would really hope, especially if there are talented people that can join this mission and help us, that we get them going. They're also very upset that people are watering their boats down at the marina at Cole Parkway, that car washes are still going on at St. Luke's. But I did email Eric from the water department, and he did say that they put warning signs up around town. I believe it was 10 or 12 of them, and they have the warning tickets that they're putting in people's mailboxes. So hopefully that will change people's.
Okay, we can put that on a future agenda.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chair.
Anything else? Or anyone else have updates? Jamie, you said you had an update.
I do. We've had a meeting with the Affordable Housing Trust on June 17th. And in that circumstance, what was on the agenda was to discuss the critical home repair program, which is ongoing. It's very successful in the town. And so we have the new application for people to fill out. That's becoming available. That was approved. And also they had Habitat for Humanity there with us to meet with us, because they also have a part of their efforts in 32 communities, 32 town jurisdiction, and Scituate being one of them, is to also have a critical repair effort.
Mm-hmm.
So what the committee was trying to figure out was, well, how could we expand? I think we allocated, and Jim, you could correct me if I'm wrong, and if you're still awake. We allocated, I think, $25,000 for this critical home repair fund this year.
Yeah.
So how could, if we also involve Habitat for Humanity, how could we get some of their help to actually make the program a little bit bigger? And that's where we left it. It was thought perhaps we could see if Widows Walk could offer up a day where there could be a spring 2027 tournament to raise funds for that effort. In addition to the town giving its $25,000 for the AHT Trust with the help of the country club or the golf course, which we have at our discretion, to give them a time for a spring fundraiser to even add to the coffers for that, for the program. So that was, I thought, extremely productive and good use of time. Where I'm at with that.
Okay. No other?
I do have one thing for our retiring chair when you're ready for that.
Okay. Should we, we wanna do it now, or?
I would like to do it on the record.
Approval of meeting
Oh,
minutes?
yeah, let's do those.
Let's just approve the meeting minutes, which is our last order of business,
Move to
right?
accept the select board minutes from June 9th, 2026.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Schlegel, seconded by, Mr. Gilmore, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now you have
Well,
the walk-on at the Lady
Yeah.
Hours.
I think it's unanimous in all of our decisions.
Okay.
That the last 2 years of this committee, we've done a lot of good things, we've done a lot of hard work, and at your direction and your educational elements have been very helpful to us. And your guidance was exemplary, might I say, and on behalf of the town and your board, we want to give you this little token of appreciation. It's breakable, be careful.
Yeah.
All right, I was already warned.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheena.
Good.
It doesn't mean we're not gonna call you for more advice.
I hope so. I don't even know.
Like, let's adjourn, sign documents and open the
It's
hearing.
not ticking.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I
sign
did.
documents? All right, moved by Ms. Schlegel, seconded by Dr. Monacenko, all in favor?
Aye.